Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Ibrahim Traoré's era. Nigeria, the giant of Africa, is currently drowning in a deep security crisis that has pushed entire communities in the north into fear and mourning. As extremist groups continue to destroy Christian villages, attack innocent families, and spread terror across vast regions, while the Nigerian government watches with a level of silence and weakness that many citizens believe is either total incompetence or a deliberate refusal to act. As the bloodshed continues, the United States has suddenly shifted its attention toward Nigeria in a way that is not casual, not symbolic, and not diplomatic, but aggressively military, with AFRICOM submitting a final strategy report to Washington that openly recommends a full military intervention in northern Nigeria, including the deployment of a massive aircraft carrier strike group to the Gulf of Guinea, where it can project power directly onto Nigeria's coastline and operate as a floating military city designed to intimidate, monitor, and control whatever it wishes. The United States, according to this strategy, intends to launch airstrikes on extremist camps, Fulani militant bases, and armed hideouts, and has already issued an unusual warning, declaring that it intends to fight alone without the participation of the Nigerian army, a decision that immediately raised suspicions among Nigerians who have suffered long enough to understand that when a foreign power demands full operational control, it usually means they have something they prefer to hide from the local authorities. Across Nigeria, people are now asking the questions their government refuses to answer. How have these extremist groups been able to maintain a long-term genocidal campaign without running out of money, weapons, vehicles, intelligence networks, and advanced communication systems, unless powerful individuals within the Nigerian elite have been secretly funding them, protecting them, or blocking the military from receiving the weapons needed to stop them? Many Nigerians now believe this crisis did not escalate by accident, but because certain well-connected officials have been benefiting from the chaos through corruption, foreign deals, and personal gain, thereby creating the perfect justification for the United States to step into the situation under the banner of humanitarian concern. The truth, which Africans around the continent know all too well, is that whenever the United States or France expresses sudden interest in helping an African nation, their real motive is rarely mercy. It is usually access to strategic resources, political influence over national decisions, or control of large markets that benefit the West. The fact that the northern region, where the violence is concentrated, contains enormous reserves of oil, gas, gold, uranium, and other strategic minerals only reinforces the belief that the insecurity is not a mistake, but a system that keeps the region unstable enough for foreign powers to exploit without resistance. If Nigeria managed to create total stability in the north, it would immediately begin surveying, developing, and extracting its natural resources, and with proper planning and sovereign control, the gains from these resources would strengthen the national economy, empower local industries, and reduce Nigeria's dependence on the West for fuel, food, and capital goods. However, the constant presence of extremist groups prevents roads from being built, stops local companies from investing, increases insurance costs to impossible levels, and ensures that only foreign corporations with military backing can safely operate in the region, which is exactly how the West prefers it. This brings us back to the shocking American warning. We will fight alone. We do not need the Nigerian army. Such a statement raises a serious concern among Nigerian citizens, who now suspect that Western forces may not be approaching the north as enemies of the extremists, but as managers of the crisis, capable of cooperating with certain groups when necessary, pretending to bomb empty camps, or destroying only those elements that threaten their long-term strategic interests. The Nigerian people are fully aware that any government that allows foreign soldiers to take over its national defense has forfeited its sovereignty, and once the U.S. military establishes itself inside the country, it will gain influence over security decisions, oil contracts, gas projects, and eventually even Nigeria's political environment, creating a cycle of dependency that mirrors what the West has done in several African nations for decades. Citizens across the country, especially in the North and Middle Belt, have begun to demand immediate government action, insisting that Nigeria must arm its own military properly, recruit more security forces, increase intelligence operations, and purge the political class of individuals who are secretly funding or protecting extremist networks. Many Nigerians are also comparing their situation with the Sahel nations, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, where leaders like Captain Ibrahim Traoré have refused Western military control, secured their natural resources, cleansed their armies of corruption, and chosen to fight their own battles with dignity and determination. The people of Nigeria want the same courage from their leaders. They want a government that protects its citizens rather than waiting for foreign intervention. They want a military that stands strong rather than begging for external support. They want a nation that handles its crisis internally and prevents foreign powers from turning their lands into battlegrounds for global interest. Ladies and gentlemen, the genocide against Christians in northern Nigeria is not simply random violence. It is a calculated, funded, and protected operation that has pushed Nigeria to the edge, creating an opening for foreign forces to enter under the disguise of salvation. If Nigeria allows the United States to take full control of this crisis, the nation will lose more than territory or resources. It will lose its independence, its dignity, and its ability to make sovereign decisions. The only solution is for Nigeria to stand up boldly, expose the internal traitors funding the extremists, fully equip its military, recruit large numbers of new security personnel, and reclaim the North with national strength, not foreign force. This moment requires courage and unity, not surrender to external actors with hidden agendas. This is Ibrahim Traoré's era. Like and subscribe.